Here is my audience. Most of us as parents have noticed a major change in our children's educational patterns this school year. I myself was unaware of the Common Core curriculum until it was implemented here locally. Over the last month, I have gained interest in the curriculum whenever I noticed a National Protest Day was being organized. Since then, I have learned a lot about the Common Core, and today I want to share just a little bit of that with you. The Common Core state standards actually has been a long, challenging process that is yet to be implemented or accepted by the entire nation. First, we're going to go over what and who influenced these national standards. Next, we're going to go over the release and implementation of the Common Core state standards. And then last, we're going to go over the challenges being faced as a result of the implementation. Everyone has their own take of Common Core. Some say that it is a national takeover, and then other ones say that it's just standards being set state by state. Let's start from the beginning, and then hopefully by the end of the presentation, you'll be able to get a better grasp of the situation. In 2008, three nonprofit organizations released a report called Benchmarking for Success, Ensuring U.S. Students Receive a World-Class Education. This report encourages federal and state governments to unite together to change educational patterns. It says they want to upgrade state standards by adopting a Common Core of internationally benchmarked standards in math and language arts for grades K through 12 to ensure that students are equipped with the necessary knowledge and skills to be globally competitive. Now we're going to go over these three organizations that actually created the report. The first one we're going to talk about is the National Governors Association, also called the NGA. They consist of the governors of the 50 states, 3 territories, and 2 commonwealths. According to them, they're the instrument through which the nation's governors collectively influence the development and implementation of national policy and apply creative leadership to state issues. The second nonprofit organization we're going to talk about is the Council of Chief State School Officers, also called the CCSSO. They consist of public officials who head departments of elementary and secondary education in the states, the District of Columbia, the Department of Defense Education Activity, and 5 U.S. extra-state jurisdictions. According to them, they provide leadership, advocacy, and technical assistance on major educational issues, and they seek member consensus on major educational issues and express their views to civic and professional organizations, federal agencies, Congress, and the public. Now we're going to talk about the last nonprofit. They're called Achieve, Inc. They were created in 1966 by a group of governors and business leaders. According to Achieve, Inc.'s website, they develop materials to help states, districts, and others understand the organization and content of the standards and the content and evidence base used to support the standards. Together with the release of this report that these 3 organizations created was a success. The next step was to make everything formal and legal. So the NGA and CCSSO came up with an agreement which was signed by the majority of the representatives of each state in 2009. According to a report issued by the NGA, that agreement was signed and it was committing by the 51 states and U.S. territories signing it. This agreement committed to the development process with the goal to develop academic standards that would be based on research and evidence, be internationally benchmarked, be aligned with college and work expectations, and include rigorous content and skills. This is what formally created the Common Core State Standards Initiative. From there, NGA and CCSSO was able to begin the process of releasing and implementing the standards. In June of 2010, the Common Core State Standards for K through 12 for English Language Arts and Mathematics were released by the NGA Center and CCSSO. Implementation of CCSS began. By late 2011, most of the states adopted both of the standards. There's 4 states that have not adopted either one of the standards. And there's 1 state that has only adopted 1 standard. Now that you know a little more about the background of the formation of Common Core, let's talk about some of the issues that may arise. National Government Association reports that implementing the Common Core state standards will be challenging because it requires significant changes in instruction, assessment, educator preparation and development, curriculum and materials, accountability measures. Now the states have got to think about the cost of the implementation. It's going to be a major change right there. Also, the states are going to have to realize about the laws about the teacher's evaluation. Every state has a different set of laws about the teacher evaluation. There's one last challenge I want to mention to y'all. It's about the early implementation of the standards. Some states have already implemented their standards. With early implementation, this is going to affect the kids. The teachers have to actually learn the materials themselves. If they don't learn the materials, the new teaching materials, and the process of learning, if they go ahead and learn it and teach it right now, it's going to hurt the children. Now we're going to go have a recap of what we learned today. First, we went over how the standards came into place. Next, we showed how the standards were able to be released and implemented, and the fact that the process is still not over. And then lastly, we discussed some of the problems that can be and will be faced with these new standards. Now, when you see the headlines online, in the paper, or even on Facebook, you'll have a little bit of knowledge about Common Core yourself. I have only shared with you a small portion of what I have learned. There's a wealth of knowledge out there for you to learn on this matter. I want to encourage you to look into this further. It's important for you to research for yourself. That's the only way for you to find out the truth about Common Core.